Mark Rogers, TV talking college football recruiting, on the line with ESPN 300 cornerback Verone McKinley. Verone, how you doing tonight?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Definitely love talking to you guys and finding out what's going through your minds in regards to your junior season, transitioning to your senior campaign, and looking forward to the next level as well. So let's start there, because obviously you've been extremely successful to this point. Can you talk about how the football team looked this past season, and what you're looking forward to this fall?
We had a good season this past year. It was my first year at Hebron. I transferred from Prestonwood first 2 years, so I transitioned to public school 6A football in Texas. We had a good season. Went 8-4 compared to 5-7 season beforehand. We have a lot of people coming back. Our quarterback's committed to Kansas. We have a few receivers with some offers. We had a safety go to Princeton. We have some O-linemen with offers. So really a good team kind of coming back. We don't lose too much. Hopefully planning to go to state. So we started football just a few days ago. So starting the road now.
For the rest of us, Verone, that don't live in Texas, we only hear about Texas high school football. So give us a little bit of a feel for the fervor down there and the excitement.
Every game, you're gonna have a lot of people there. Everybody, Friday nights, everybody looks forward to coming to the big game. There's multiple all around the Metroplex for where I live and just all around the state of Texas. Really kind of we're the inventors of Friday Night Lights itself. So when you go to a high school football game, it's a lot of high energy, a lot of physicality, and a lot of fun.
Verone, you mentioned your quarterback with an offer from Kansas. So obviously he has quite a bit of talent. So you obviously face a number of guys throwing the football and at wide receiver who can bring it as well. So talk about playing cornerback and the challenge that you face at that position.
In practice itself, just kind of with my teammates, it's always a battle. I have two good receivers in Trajan Bridges and Jaron Mitchell. So we always compete in practice and really get better. But just as a DB itself, it's probably the hardest position besides quarterback, in my opinion. You're going backwards. You don't know what the snap count is. You don't know the route. Sometimes you're pressed, sometimes they're off. There's different speeds to the game that a receiver uses to run routes. So it's probably one of the more difficult positions in football, in my opinion.
No question. And the attacks get more diversified. The throwers and the catchers get even better each and every year. So you're rated as a top 150 player in the nation, regardless of position, a top 25 at your position at cornerback. What are the coaches saying in regards to why your skill sets is so valued?
Really just kind of my diversity and being able to play different schemes and different coverages and being a smart football player. Of course, I'm not the biggest. I've gotten bigger this past few months, kind of gaining weight, and I've grown probably an inch, but really just kind of my physicality, my football IQ, also my speed I play with. Those are a few things.
So Verone, we're seeing, what, 5'11", 170? That's what you're listed. You've added a little weight?
Yes, sir. I was 172 just the other day at the Under Armour camp. So that's steady going up, trying to get to 180 before the season.
So you mentioned just coming back from one of the Under Armour camps. What's that like? Obviously, you're testing yourself against some of the top competition.
It was great. Always fun competing against some of the top guys. It always makes me better. I won the ill speed competition. Actually, I got to be able to partake in that, and I won the whole thing. So I'll be going to Baltimore with another guy. It was two of us. I'll be going to Baltimore to compete with guys from around the country in the Ill Speed Challenge. So it was pretty good.
So in regards to your game, obviously you've got 31 offers at this point. How can you become a better football player? You still have a season that's between you and the next level, so you've got more to show and more to improve on. What would be those things that you would like to get better at?
Definitely my physicality is something I want to get better at, and then really just taking receiver out the game. That's kind of something I've really started to kind of pride myself on, is just making one of the top targets, whoever that guy is for a certain team, and just taking him out the game completely and just shutting him down, period. That's something that I've really started to focus on, and just having that dog factor for sure each and every game, whether that's coming up in run fits or just, as I said, taking guy out the game.
When we talk about 31 offers and more may be coming, who knows, that's certainly plenty. You've got all the Texas schools, you get the Big 12 right there, as well as the SEC, and even more so than that. So when you start to make that decision and think about all the factors involved, what's going to be a good fit for you?
Really a place that I can just call home. I have a few more visits coming up here, but also just kind of a place I can come call home, looking at the communications department academically, a place where I can really develop more as a man and on the field, and kind of develop for the NFL, prepare myself for that. It's something I want to do, but I also know how that is not promised. So that's why I came back to the academic side and make sure kind of the communications department is something I really take an interest in.
So, Verone, you mentioned you already have an interest academically, and I could have suggested or probably guessed that communications. You're an extremely well-spoken young man.
Thank you.
Obviously, that's extremely important as you move on in life. So it's good to hear and talking to you and a number of the other guys. With the athletic ability that you have and with the offers that are coming in, that you're still focused on the academic side and looking for a school that's going to be a good fit there.
Yes, sir.
All right, Verone McKinley, cornerback there in Carrollton, Texas, one of the top 25 in the nation, according to all the recruiting services. So, Verone, do you have a thought on when that day is going to come that you're going to make a decision? Because we talk to you guys all the time, and obviously, a lot of have already made that commitment. A number have a specific day. Others are going to take it to the last hour on that first Wednesday of February. So your thoughts, and maybe have you cut it down to a list at this point?
Yes, sir. I cut it down to a top 9 probably a few months ago. Those schools were Texas A&M, UCLA, Alabama, Clemson, LSU. What else was in it? Nebraska, Penn State, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. Those are the schools I narrowed it down to. And really, those were just the few that I felt as of right then and there. Those were kind of the ones I wanted to take a main focus on. I got a couple of more offers after that, and I kind of still have those in the back of my mind, but really trying to make the decision probably in May. Have a few more visits basically in April, take this month of April and kind of the rest of March to really take some more visits and make sure that I make the right decision for me and my family.
All right, Verone. It seems like you got a good support system in place, and I'm sure you'll make the right decision. It's good talking to you. You're obviously an astute young man with a ton of athletic ability, so we appreciate you coming on and look forward to seeing you on the field.
Thank you. I appreciate it.